You're swimming in an inland sea 80 million years ago. You never hear it coming. A reptile longer than a city bus with a bony battering ram for a face is already beneath you, and even sharks are its prey. But here is what should stop you cold. This ocean-ruling monster began as a lizard you could hold in 2 hands. Getting from that to this was one of the fastest takeovers in the history of life. Rewind to roughly 100 million years ago. The giant is not here yet. In its place, slinking through coastal shallows, is a slim lizard, barely a meter long, webbed, long-tailed, and prey for almost everything larger. Michael Caldwell at the University of Alberta has spent decades arguing over what it even was, a cousin of today's monitor lizards, or kin to the ancestors of snakes. That debate is still live. The danger was not. This little reptile lived 1 bad second from being eaten, and then it did something no lizard had any business doing. For these early water lizards, the sea was both refuge and trap. On land, they were a snack. In the shallows, they were faster, hidden, harder to corner, so they stayed wet. They still had 4 working legs, paddling more than swimming, surfacing for every breath. Picture a meter-long monitor lizard that decided the beach was too dangerous and never fully came back. If you'd watched one hunt, you'd have seen something almost clumsy, a sprawling reptile snapping at small fish, never far from shore. The open ocean belonged to creatures far older and better adapted. To survive out there, this lineage had to stop being a lizard that swims and become something built for water. And one change came first that made all the rest possible. Then, roughly 94 million years ago, the warming planet flooded the continents. Shallow seas spread inland, teeming with fish and squid, an unguarded buffet. The lineage answered with its first great transformation. It cut ties with the shore completely. The legs stretched and webbed into broad paddles. The body lengthened. And, most striking of all, they stopped laying eggs on land, giving birth in open water to live young that swam from their first breath. Think about that. No nest, no beach, no retreat. A reptile that had escaped the land now had no reason ever to touch it again. And the sea was about to either break them or reward that gamble beyond anything else alive. If you dropped into that sea, the first thing to find you would not be a mosasaur. It would be a shark, Cretaceous, the Ginsu shark, 2 tons of teeth that ruled these waters for millions of years. The early mosasaurs were not the apex predators. They were contenders in a crowded, lethal arena. But the timing was perfect. The old marine giants, the ichthyosaurs, the great plesiosaurs, were fading from the seas, leaving the top of the food chain half empty. And nothing on Earth fills an empty throne faster than a hungry, breeding, fully marine reptile with no competition for the nursery. In just a few million years, mosasaurs exploded across the planet's oceans. Small ones, fast ones, and then the giants began to appear. By around 86 million years ago, one form had pushed the design to its limit: Tylosaurus. Up to 13, perhaps 14 meters long, longer than a school bus. Othniel Marsh named it in 1872 for the bony spike on its snout, a reinforced prow it likely used to ram and stun prey. Johan Lindgren's work on fossilized mosasaur skin and soft tissue revealed two more refinements: a deep fish-like tail fluke for sustained speed and camouflage, dark above, pale below, the same trick sharks and orcas still use to vanish. Inside the jaws sat a second set of teeth mounted in the roof of the mouth, dragging struggling prey down the throat so nothing escaped. This was no longer a lizard that had taken to water. This was the water's apex, fully formed. At its peak, Tylosaurus ruled the Western Interior Seaway, the vast ocean that split North America in two. Michael Everhart, who has spent a career reading the Smoky Hill chalk of Kansas, has cataloged what fossil stomachs reveal: fish, sharks, plesiosaurs, smaller mosasaurs, and even Hesperornis, a flightless diving bird. It ate, quite simply, whatever shared its water. In barely 15 million years, a lineage that began one bad second from death had become the single most dangerous animal in the sea. That is the triumph. The vulnerable little shoreline lizard had inherited an entire ocean. 66 million years ago, an asteroid ended the Cretaceous, and every last mosasaur vanished with it. They left no descendants. Tylosaurus has no living echo in today's oceans. The closest relatives still breathing are land animals, the monitor lizards, and perhaps the snakes, the argument we opened with. Because here is the strange part. We know what killed Tylosaurus. What we still cannot fully explain is how it got here at all. How a coastal lizard became an ocean's apex predator in a geological eye blink. The death is settled, the rise is not. But Tylosaurus was only one giant the Cretaceous oceans built, and only one mystery the chalk still holds. What other vanished worlds are waiting in the rock? Million-year journey pulls two more out of deep time every week. What turns a hand-sized lizard into the ruler of an ocean? Warm seas, an empty throne, and a body remade for water. The rest is still buried and still being read.